So apparently people don't know about Old Bay wings. So let me tell you. You're gonna first start with some fresh squeezed lemon juice. I'm cutting up 2 lemons, but really you just need 1 lemon. I'm using a lemon squeezer, but feel free to just go ahead and use your hands, obviously. It's better to use fresh squeezed lemon juice for this recipe as opposed to the concentrated lemon juice in the bottle. Go ahead and remove any of the seeds and then set the lemon juice aside. Put a small pot on medium heat and then go ahead and add 1 cup of butter. 1 cup of butter is equivalent to 2 sticks of butter. Make sure that this butter is unsalted. You don't want to add any extra salt because the Old Bay will have plenty of salt. Once you've allowed the butter to melt, go ahead and stir it and then prepare to add your Old Bay seasoning. Old Bay seasoning is traditionally used for seafood, but it's also great for chicken. This little box packs the perfect blend of herbs, spices, and heat to flavor these wings. This recipe is super simple, so it's part of our quick and easy meals. Go ahead and add the 2 tablespoons of Old Bay seasoning and stir it together just to mix everything up well. Next, you'll be adding the fresh squeezed lemon juice. Remember, it's important that this juice is freshly squeezed from lemons. Once you've added the lemon juice, you're going to go ahead and stir it and allow it to cook on the stove just briefly before you turn it off. You're going to basically leave it to sit and cool to room temperature. You don't want this sauce to be hot when you put it onto the wings, so definitely give it some time to cool. These chicken wings I had sat out on the countertop to allow them to come to room temperature. I basically prepare this rack and also the pan by lining with aluminum foil. That's only because I want cleanup to be easy. You don't have to do that. When I align it with aluminum foil though, I still poke holes through the rack because I want the juices to flow to the bottom. You can also cook the chicken wings directly on the rack. Either way, cooking on the rack in general is what's going to allow you to get some nice crispy wings. I use some paper towels to pat dry the wings to remove any excess water that's still there after I wash them. I basically don't want any of this water to dilute the flavor and seasonings, so I make sure to get all of the water off. I then take my cooled Old Bay sauce and stir it together very well because a lot of the Old Bay seasoning has settled down to the bottom. After I stir it together very vigorously, I go ahead and add some of it to the chicken. I tend to add about half of the sauce to the chicken right now, and I'm sure not to contaminate my spoon because I'll be adding more of this sauce later after the chicken has cooked. Once I go ahead and mix all of the chicken wings well into the sauce, I go ahead and start laying them on the rack. Remember, this wire rack really is what's important and great to help you get nice crispy wings. You don't necessarily have to line the rack with aluminum foil like I did. Remember, I do that just because I want cleaning to be very easy, but you just want to make sure that you do cook the wings on a rack and not directly on the pan. So once you have them all laid out nicely on the wire rack, you're going to put them into an oven that's been preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. You need that high temperature. They're going to bake for 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes, you're going to go ahead and take them out and flip the wings over. Use a fork or tongs or whatever your tool of choice is. Just be sure to take the time to individually flip every single one of those wings. Then they bake for 10 to 15 minutes at the same temperature, and then you actually turn the oven onto broil and broil them for just 2 to 3 minutes. After this time, once you take them out, you'll see that they're beautiful, crisp, and a wonderful color. So next you're going to take those beautiful brown wings and put them into a large bowl. And honestly, you could eat them like this. I mean, they're done and they're going to taste amazing even right now. But if you want to really finish them off perfectly and add some extra Old Bay goodness, you're basically going to add some additional sauce on top. Now again, go ahead and mix the sauce very, very well because it's all settled. You don't want to just be adding butter. You really want to get all of the sauce incorporated. So if you want it to just be lightly seasoned, you can go ahead and just add maybe 1 to 2 tablespoons. But for me, I want a good amount, so I'm putting several tablespoons on top. Just be mindful that, there is salt inside. So if you want it lightly seasoned, then, you don't necessarily have to add as much as I do. And then if you want to impress everybody, you can go ahead and move the chicken wings to another plate, throw some lemon slices on there, go ahead and sprinkle on some Old Bay so that you'll look like you just came out of a cooking show, and you're done. You'll have amazing, crispy, delicious Old Bay wings. Everyone will thank you. As always, the link in the description will have the full recipe. Check out more of our cooking videos here on YouTube.